Jai Hind and welcome to Dev Talks. This is Aadi. Namaskar, good evening. Interesting things are happening in Pakistan. Imran Khan Saab is on the march. Long march is happening from Peshawar to Islamabad. He's on the truck right now. काफी कुछ हो रहा है. कल 2 दिन के अंदर there's been a press conference which was a little fiery. What is happening in Pakistan? Suddenly सब कुछ तो अभी ठंडा था काफी टाइम तक. Suddenly ये पूरा heat up हो गया है. This has started after that एक unfortunate killing of that journalist in Kenya. उसके बाद से थोड़ा सा temperature seems to have gone up. Something that we'll have to analyze what is happening, and seems that both the sides are trying to put their case across कि भाई हो क्या रहा है भाई, हमारी तरफ से तो ये है, हमारी तरफ से तो ये है. And interestingly, पहली बारी जो नदीम अंजुम साहब हैं, he has come out of the shadows of ISI and given a press conference. Right, so before I begin and show you my little collection of slides, like to request you all, you guys, please hit the like button, subscribe, join as a member, or you can also just click the thanks button to send a super chat or a super sticker. And yes, of course, if you want to join the Dev Talks WhatsApp group, please do send me an email with the address mentioned in the description with your name and your contact number for me to verify who you are and add you into our WhatsApp group. Right, शुरू करें फिर. देखते हैं पाकिस्तान में क्या हो रहा है. अभी तो फाइट इज आउट इन द ओपन, पब्लिक में झगड़ा चल रहा है इनका. राइट, पाकिस्तान एंड इमरान खान. दिस थिंग, इसके बारे में जो फिक्सिंग इमरान खान के बारे में मैंने एक पहले भी वीडियो करा था वेयर आई हैड सेड कि इमरान खान के ऊपर अभी थोड़ा सा टारगेटिंग शुरू हो जाएगा. Because see, at the end of it, this is the time when the army chief is going to change, right? So when that happens, there is going to be some politics coming across, and he is the guy who काफी टाइम से उसने काफी कुछ टाइट करके रखा हुआ है पाकिस्तान के अंदर. I mean, Pakistan has a lot of troubles, and Imran Khan may or may not be as the way you would like to look at it. One of them may be one of them. So let's see. कल we saw this. Interesting, this thing. आप इन दोनों का just photograph देखिए. You can look at the body language. They were not very confident. They were not very this thing. थोड़ा पसीना शसीना निकल रहा था. But anyways, इन लोगों ने press conference करी. Schedule press conference था कि भाई वो जो जिनकी डेथ हुई है जर्नलिस्ट साहब अरशद साहब, उनके लिए प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस करने हैं, उसके बारे में कुछ अपडेट देना था इनको. एंड देन ऑब्वियसली द टॉपिक काइंड ऑफ थोड़ा सा वेयर हो गया. इट वेंट इनटू इमरान खान एंड जनरल बाजवा के डायरेक्शन में चले गया. लेट्स सी व्हाट दे एक्चुअली सेड. इन लोगों ने काफी कुछ बोला. मैं इतना आई डोंट वांट टू कवर द एंटायर प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस बिकॉज अभी तक आप लोगों ने या देख ली होगी या पढ़ ली होगी. यू नो, दिस इज प्रीटी मच देयर. सो थोड़ा सा जिस्ट पहले तो यू नो DGISI लेफ्टिनेंट जनरल बाबर इफ्तिकार, बड़े फेमस आदमी हैं, he spoke and उन्होंने बोला भाई you know targeting of the institution is happening. पाकिस्तान आर्मी को भाई आप you guys have targeted it, you have you know reduced our name into bad this thing, used a name in this bad narratives, fake articles have been done, propaganda has been done. So काफी कुछ उन्होंने इसके बारे में बोला. But the main thing that I want to talk to you about, he said that all this is happening, but the chief of army staff, General Bajwa Saab, has acted with a lot of patience. उन्होंने कुछ बोला शोला नहीं है किसी को. So just remember that. That is one thing that we need to take away. Basically, इमरान खान का ये जो कॉन्फ्रेंस क्यों हुई है, जो you know this journalist अरशद शरीफ की जो किलिंग हुई है केन्या के अंदर, इमरान खान has somewhere hinted that the establishment is behind it. Now, there is a funny thing that happens when something like this takes place is that Imran Khan has brought the entire discussion, ये जो झगड़ा इनका काफी टाइम से चल रहा था, पब्लिक में नहीं था बट चल रहा था, out into the open, using this particular thing as an excuse. Now, I am saying this, he's using this as an excuse. I am sure उसके पास अगर कुछ है कि नहीं है, I am not very aware of this particular thing. But at the moment, at the face of it, जो optics की चीजें होती है, उसके अंदर you can make out this guy is using it as a tool to kind of put pressure on the army. General Iftikhar Saab also said that, you know, this particular journalist has been criticizing the establishment काफी टाइम से कर रहा है. November 2021 से वो ऐसी चीजें बोल रहा है. हमने उसको कुछ बोला नहीं है. We don't have any harsh feelings against him. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. This and that. Basically, if you read between the lines, एक चीज आपको यहाँ पर दिखती है कि भैया इसके ऊपर काफी टाइट से माइक्रोस्कोप लगा के एस्टैब्लिशमेंट जो है इनकी देख रहा था इनको. ठीक है, So that's why he knows November 2021 say exactly this guy has been talking against the establishment. We were tracking him, we know what he was doing. Yeah, so itna, that's the hidden gist behind this entire thing. After that, he said, all the time when we spoke to media and journalists, we asked him to make sure that भाई हमको जरा establishment को ढूंढो. बाजवा ने बोला politicize होगी है, army अभी थोड़ी बाहर रहेगी politics में से and everything like that. So keep us away. Don't bring us into controversial topics and stuff like that. Now, in the case of Pakistani army, जब पाकिस्तानी आर्मी किसी जर्नलिस्ट को कुछ बोलती है, वो बोलना नहीं होता. ये तो दिस इज समथिंग विच इज वेरी क्लियरली नोन. बात करी कि I'd leave it to all your imaginations. Right. After that, then he says, one of the things that I can see of this entire game is that he was also involved with this Imran Khan का जो साइफर का वो जो जेब में से पेपर शेपर निकाला था इसने कि भाई यूएस का पूरा this and that was there, there's a conspiracy हो रही है भाई यूएस मेरे को निकालने के लिए, there's something which is happening. So I think Arshad is somewhere tied up into this entire game also. He had probably seen that cipher. कुछ इंटरव्यू हुआ था इसका इमरान खान के साथ. So there is some history to it. DGISI के हिसाब से तो the day when all this happened, he was basically made to run from the country. He went to Dubai for some time. वहाँ पर दुबई में रहा. उसके बाद जब उसका वीजा एक्सपायर हुआ, somebody has taken him to Kenya. So questions are there कि ये पीछे कौन, who's been doing this, moving him around, moving this journalist around. One of the interesting things is ये जो DGISI है Nanjun, he has come out from the shadows, as I said, from the ISI का जो mystic background में से he came out, and he's basically shown himself and spoken to the media for the first time. इसने तो अपनी फोटोएं क्रॉप करा ली थी. He had removed his presence from even photographs showcasing where he was and everything like that, because he didn't want to be a public figure. And this is something he said ki, the agency that I'm working is requires me to stay quiet, so that's how I am. One thing that he mentioned is then when they are targeted based on lies of as the head of the agency, I cannot stay quiet. So he basically came out and said, yaar, bas, now I have to put my point across. Imran Khan jo boli ja raha hai, theek hai, I want to say what I want to say. He said General Bajwa ko Imran Khan ne extension offer kari. Now this is something, just before I made this video, I was reading a news. कहीं पे Imran Khan ने भी कोई छोटा सा प्रेस स्टेटमेंट टाइप दिया है जहां पर उसने एग्री करा है कि हाँ मैंने उसको कुछ एक्सटेंशन टाइप ऑफर करी थी. मेन पर्पस वी ऑल नो यार, इमरान खान वांटेड टू मेक श्योर दैट हिज गवर्नमेंट लास्ट्स अप. अगर बाजवा साहब उसके साथ होंगे तो गवर्नमेंट चल जाएगी, as it happens in Pakistan all the time. Another thing that he said is DGI said is that Imran Khan goes and meets General Bajwa secretly. Interesting. This is something which is being reported. काफी लोगों ने इसके बारे में बात करी है कि ये कुछ पीछे बैक चैनल इमरान खान की है. ठीक है, there was nothing confirmed about it, but there has been conversations. ये तो थोड़ा सा clearly निकल रहा है अभी बाहर. Now, if you look at it, broader angles, if you look at the situation, what do you see? You see Imran Khan targeting the establishment with this journalist's death, and the establishment counter targeting Imran Khan. So Imran Khan ने पहला अटैक करा, उसके बाद establishment इसको अभी जवाब दे रही है. Let's see आगे क्या हो रहा है. आज क्या हुआ? Today, now with this whole thing happened, Imran Khan has responded and said, DGISI, obviously he said it in Urdu, कि भाई open your ears for the sake of the country. I am keeping quiet and not speaking against the institutions yet. अब इसको आप हिंदी में बोलेंगे भाई कान खोल कर सुन लो. And this is what he exactly said कि भाई I am quiet right now. Don't make me speak. Now this is interesting. Does Imran Khan actually have something against the establishment? God knows. Because he probably doesn't have a death wish, that's why he's not doing something like this. But this is something I don't know. I can't put my money into it. I won't like to bet on it, but it seems like there is something. वो क्यों ऐसे खुले में बोलेगा? He knows what is Pakistan. He knows the game. बेवकूफ नहीं है. Let's understand that. Now, as I said, Imran Khan साहब is on a long march till Islamabad. आज वो कहीं किसी चौक वॉक में कहीं पे पहुंचे थे लाहौर में. And he basically, photography चल रही है, वो DJs चल रहा है, सब कुछ, that entire thing is happening. And he said, a tsunami of people cannot be stopped. So he basically is, अभी crowd collection हो रहा है ताकि इस्लामाबाद में जब घुसे, it needs to be a solid this thing. Although not many media channels are reporting this, but Islamabad has been chock-a-blocked. काफी वो container जैसे पाकिस्तान में होता है, that has been already placed in the city. So it's not that, I don't know how easy it is going to be for him to enter the place. But anyways, this is what is happening right now. He also said in that little presser that he gave, he said, यार ऐसा है अगर आप apolitical हो तो ये press conference क्यों कर रहे हो? You should do a press conference when there is a national security issue, when there is a terrorism thing or something to do with the army. Why are you coming out and talking about politics and this and that? ये तो आपका काम नहीं है. So he basically counter-attacked him in a very interesting way. And the bottom line is that the fight is basically out in the open. इसके अंदर one group of people who is suspiciously missing is the current government. वो तो quiet, they're not saying anything. वो छोटे मोटे इधर उधर press statements and all that they're giving, but otherwise they're not much. इनका जो home minister has said, we will stop them and containers and this and that, and you know how it works in Pakistan, but it's the last minute that actually counts. Imran Khan was barred from the elections, and then some high court said nahi ye wo and all that stuff. So there's always a very thin line of ambiguity. क्या होने वाला है यहाँ पर? पाकिस्तान में कोई भरोसा नहीं है. What is going to happen? Right? What else happened in these past 1 or 2 days with Pakistan? जो थोड़ा सा interesting है, and we'll talk about that, and then we'll get into the इसका क्या implication है? What is happening with this DGISI and ये जो पूरा game है? What is the implication of this? What do I read out of this entire situation? And mind you guys, before I go forward, I'm going to do a show with General Shankar on Sunday at 10 p.m. India time, where we will discuss this issue a little more in detail. I'm just trying to tell you what all has actually happened, breaking news style. Right, let's move forward. There's a ML1 Karachi to Peshawar $10 billion railway line that was supposed to be done. ये CPEC का एक part है. इसके पीछे भी काफी टाइम से झगड़ा चल रहा है, कौन पैसे डालेगा उसके ऊपर पाकिस्तान और चाइना के बीच में. There have been quite a lot of disagreements. Now, one thing I want to ask you is, suddenly ये रोड कहाँ से आ गई, रेलवे कहाँ से आ गई भाई? वो जो CPEC की रोड्स बनाई थी उनका, I hope flood has not taken them away. God knows. Only when the water recedes will we find out हुआ क्या है, how much damage has actually taken place to the CPEC projects. East China Group, ये तो अभी थोड़ी देर पहले आया था, and has put out an investment. Now when China and Pakistan are talking, यार investment जो होता है ना, बड़ा थोड़ा you have to take it with a pinch of salt, because CPEC was supposed to be an investment, but it turned out to be a loan, because loan investment पे interest तो there's a bit of a, it's a blurry line when we talk about these two things. So anyways, investment of $4.5 billion where they wanted to build a refinery in Gaza. If you remember, ये थोड़ा टाइम पहले सऊदी अरेबिया के साथ भी काफी बात चल रही थी कि भाई वो बनाएंगे, उनका स्टोरेज भी यहाँ पर होगा, ये वो and all that stuff. So a lot of things were there. Now China is basically looking at doing something like this. And Arshad Sharif Saab, although is missing in action from all this Imran Khan DGISI, I think he's going to China on the 1st of November. And ये जो suddenly investment has happened, this is very interesting. If you see the clipping that I've put, it is at the backdrop of the Pakistanis, and this is, by the way, the first or the first week of October, and they're telling the Chinese कि भाई हमारे जो लोन है आप रोल ओवर कर दो. They don't have money to give it back. Flood shut आ रखा है, बुरे हाल हैं. This is what the game is, and they are wanting to get into another setup with the Chinese. एक चीज मेरे को दिख रही है कि they are trying to do America also and China also together. So ये दोनों को, I think they are trying to counterbalance. उसको चाइना को जो चाहिए उसको दे रहे हैं, अमेरिका को जो चाहिए उसको दे रहे हैं. They are trying to be the good boy in the middle. But let me see, I'll try and do a little more analysis. This brings a little question. ये Pakistan China का अभी जो, actually how will Pakistan balance between China and USA should be the question. I will get somebody and discuss this. I'll get somebody who knows this subject pretty well and discuss this in the next couple of days. Anyways, let's come back. Indian Raksha Mantri Sahab, Rajnath Singh Sahab, so he was in J&K, and he actually mentioned that bhai, Gilgit, Baltistan and POK will be taken at any at any time. This is something that we have to do. He said that the Article 370 का जो हमने काम किया था वो complete नहीं होगा जब तक हम ये territories हम वापस नहीं लेंगे. So this is बड़ा interesting सा subject था, but I was hoping कि वहां से कोई जवाब आएगा. जवाब तो आया नहीं। पाकिस्तान हु बेसिकली आप कश्मीर के बारे में बोलो और वहां से वो, बट देयर वाज नो रिस्पांस। अभी तक तो नहीं आया, अभी कुछ शाम को आ जाए या एज वी स्पीकिंग समथिंग इज कमिंग, आई डोंट नो, लेट्स सी। ये बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग सा ट्वीट है। प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ जिम्बाब्वे एक्चुअली सेड व्हाट अ विन फॉर जिम्बाब्वे, कांग्रेचुलेशन टू शेवरॉन्स, नेक्स्ट टाइम सेंड द रियल मिस्टर बीन पाकिस्तान। आई डोंट नो इफ यू गाइज नो द स्टोरी। ये जो मिस्टर बीन इन्होंने भेजा था, एक कोई फेक सा था, तो उसके बारे में काफी जिम्बाब्वे हैज ट्रोल्ड पाकिस्तान प्रीटी बैडली, and as soon as that tweet came, Shehbaz Sharif saab responded to that, we may not have real Mr. Bean, but we have real cricketing spirit, and we Pakistanis have a funny habit of bouncing back. Mr. President, congratulations, your team played really well today. इसमें response Rajnath Singh saab mentioned about Kashmir and POK and Gilgit Baltistan, no response there, and that is very interesting. But the response came from China. And he said Kashmir issue should be resolved by India and Pakistan through dialogue, consultations, and this and that. उन्होंने एक भैया स्टेटमेंट डाल दिया आगे, राइट, बिकॉज ऑब्वियसली देयर उनकी रोड जाती है। हमने क्या किया पीछे से? एंड दिस इज quite an attack on Pakistan. Why am I trying to tell you this is that the entire establishment and इनकी जो government is so distracted with Imran Khan and what is happening with the DGISI, they have forgotten all this stuff that is taking place. Right? I don't know if any of the media has actually reported the China thing यार। उनके वहां पर जो ML1 एक आधा किसी ने बोला होगा, बट अदरवाइज नथिंग हैज हैपेंड। कश्मीर के बारे में इतना चीज इंडिया से बोल दिया, कुछ नहीं हुआ। टुडे वेरी इंटरेस्टिंगली मिनिस्टर जयशंकर, and this is a very interesting series of events and series of place जो बोलते हैं, उन्होंने एक ट्वीट डाला, एंड दिस इज अ एंटी टेरर ग्रुप है, यूएनएससी का एंटी टेरर काउंसिल है। He said United Nations Security Council gathers in the 26/11 memorial at the Hotel Taj Palace, Mumbai. This sends a strong message on countering terrorism. We will hold the masterminds and conspirators accountable. We will never give up. बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग सा चीज है। It is, I mean, amazing. आप देखिए, this was said with the United Nations Security Council anti-terror group sitting in the Taj, about the Taj and about our very close friend Pakistan. 26/11 was काफी in the news today. काफी लोग इसके बारे में बात कर रहे थे। Interestingly, publicly the evidence was displayed, photographs were given, what Pakistan has given as jail sentences or luxury villa resort stays was also shown. बड़ा clearly evidence आज दिखाया है, call recording तक play हुई है, and that is something very interesting in the public when something like this happens. This was a very clear message that went across. There was also interaction with some of the victims, जिनकी family members unfortunately died during that terrible attack. The UNSC members were able to meet these guys and talk to them, and a whole lot of things. This is a very soft game that India has played, and it's a very well played game. I must say this is on the back of last week China tried to stop, and he successfully stopped naming of the Shahid Mahmood as a terrorist. I think this was a good shot. So Jaishankar Saab obviously does quite a bit of these things, right? Let's come back to Imran Khan and stuff like that. Okay, I just want to give you a couple of additional news that is happening, which is not being covered in Pakistan itself. So any of you, and I know there are few that do watch me from Pakistan. So if you are, please ask your media why aren't they talking about it, right? अभी ये हो क्या रहा है पाकिस्तान के अंदर? Let's try and see. I've got couple of things that I want to talk about. Army, to my mind, a lot of us have been expecting कि भैया आर्मी will come and hit. कब मारेगी इमरान खान को, कब उसको हिट करेगी, तो उसको भगाएगी या भगाएगी, you know what I mean? We've been waiting for it. वो अटैक कर रहा है, he's doing it again and again. He's called them Mir Jafar, Mir Sadiq, I don't know, he called them an animal one time. I don't know what all he said. But main thing that I see is army is on the back foot. ये जो रिस्पॉन्डिंग होता है ना, आप अटैक नहीं कर रहे, आप रिस्पॉन्ड कर रहे हो, काउंटर अटैक कर रहे हो. सो देयर इज अ it seems like the army was on the back foot. Of course, इनकी body language देख के थोड़ा सा, it was like one could kind of see that they were not in a very this thing. So either Imran Khan and whatever he is doing has put them under a lot of pressure. And I'm not saying कि army का कहीं हाथ है वो अरशद शरीफ की killing के अंदर, या I'm not sure. ठीक है, I don't know and I don't want to even turn around and say it. A lot of people will give reasons कि भाई ये हुआ वो हुआ and this and that, but we don't know, right? We probably have some evidence, we don't know. This is something interesting. This guy has been able to put the army. अब ये बंदा जो DGISI जो कभी बाहर आने को राजी नहीं है, अपनी एक फोटो डालने को राजी नहीं है, he's come out and given a press conference is very interesting. Please understand the level that the game is being played. I would say Imran Khan is now looking at one simple thing. Sahab, this is an event. I've put these guys under pressure. Timing. Punjab to uske paas hai, KP uske paas hai. He's got some other seats here and there as well. He won some seats in by-election also. I mean, just going over broadly, he is looking at it as an opportunity. अब उसने आज जो प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस दी है, where he's actually said DGISI प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस नहीं, यानी वो माइक पे खड़े होके जो वो क्या बोलते हैं इनको, लॉन्ग मार्च या जलसा वलसा whatever they were doing, उसके अंदर ये बोला उसने कि DGISI कान खोल के सुन लो. I mean, I wish I had that clip. I'm sure it's viral on Twitter. All of you would have probably seen it. So it's the timing factor which I see Imran Khan is looking at it very carefully. कि भाई ये अच्छा टाइम है कुछ गेम खेलने का. I also say this, and a lot of people might disagree with me. ठीक है, a lot of people are saying भाई इमरान खान बेवकूफ है, उसका टाइम अप हो गया, ये है वो है. My question to all this is, अगर उसका टाइम अप हो गया था, why is he still standing? There has to be a reason. हाँ, he might not become the prime minister. हाँ, he might lose elections. हाँ, he might probably be, taken care of in the next couple of days. अभी तक तो खड़ा है. He is still standing. Long march कर रहा है in spite of. Now ये जो political army is saying, here is the DGISI coming out and saying this and putting a press conference. जो इमरान खान का point है, although it doesn't make too much sense, but somewhere you can say, okay, मान ली बात, right? So he's been smart. He's been taking these opportunities. जहां उसको कुछ दिखता है ठक करके मारता है वहां पर, and you find him actually using this narrative pretty well. His whoever's doing the thinking, agar wo when he was the prime minister, if you would have got that guy to think for him, it would have been much better. Because the timing game that Imran Khan is playing is, I must say, it's something that we must look at very clearly. But the big question that we need to ask here, big question क्या है? One must understand, अगर the Pakistani army, they want to become apolitical, कि भाई हम लोग नहीं घुसेंगे पॉलिटिक्स के अंदर, वो काफी टाइम से ये चीजें बोल रहे हैं. I don't know how far that is possible, but let us for a moment assume that they want to become apolitical. If they want to become apolitical, then obviously they will draw some sort of a red line and say, यार भाई ठीक है, we will tolerate for a little bit, ये इसके आगे मत जाना, then we will have a problem with you. Anybody will, I'll not trouble you, you don't trouble me, as long as mutual understanding type जो उनकी होगी. Now will he cross that red line? आज तो directly DGISI का नाम लेके उसने बोल दिया. So there is a red line which is probably already crossed. Now I don't know whether taking the name of DGISI is a red line or not, but I'm just giving a छोटा सा argument. Will he go further? This is one question we'll have to see. ठीक है, I can't say anything at the moment because it's difficult to predict what is happening. ये Pakistan has been a roller coaster ride for the past some time. So जितने लोग prediction लिखते रहे, general prediction कर सकते हैं. बाकी long term prediction is very difficult to do in Pakistan because they've been pulling out rabbits out of their hat. I mean, ने सोचा यूक्रेन को they will be selling weapons and making sure that they get F-16 मिल जाएंगे. अभी तो क्या जॉर्डन से भी they also taking some F-16s. Nobody thought about it, ना? Suddenly आ गए, FATF से निकल गए, Asian Development Bank से पैसे आ रहे हैं. I heard IMF से भी थोड़े पैसे आ रहे हैं. There is a lot suddenly which is moving around. So Pakistan has that tendency of doing stuff like this. Will Imran Khan will be able to do exactly the same thing? Question that I'll have to ask. And guys, please put your thoughts through about about the series of events that I've kind of discussed. I will go through the comments after I say this, and one other point that I want to talk about. Uh, will he come back? Now, this is been debated for a long time. Yeah. See, legally they've been trying to fix him. They've tried to say कि भाई इसको अभी हमने इलेक्शन में नहीं लड़ने देना. We gonna blacklist him or whitelist him, whatever. They wanted to do something to him, right? Legally they tried doing something, but वो हुआ नहीं. कुछ हाई कोर्ट ने कुछ बोल दिया, यहाँ पर कुछ हो गया, वहां पर कुछ. So he's been getting some support from somewhere, and that is something we must understand. अब वो पुराना DGISI है कि कोई और है कि क्या गेम है, I don't know, because it is quite untelling. ये जो पाकिस्तान में हो रहा है कभी हिस्ट्री में हुआ नहीं है. Pakistani army has not had to stoop down and respond to someone ever. ठीक है जी, पाकिस्तानी आर्मी को जवाब देने की कभी जरूरत नहीं पड़ी है. They have said and it has happened. जिसने नहीं करा, what has happened to the prime ministers, and one of them was also hung. So Pakistani army is not in the business of giving explanations. And हाँ, थोड़ा सा लैंग्वेज जो थी DGISI की वो काफी स्ट्रॉन्ग थी. There is no question about it. He said, वो थोड़ा सा जोश में आर्मी मैन he said, but I think that he was more angry on the factor that मेरे होते हुए ये हो रहा है मेरे साथ. Just my thought. I don't know. Tell me if you agree with me. Please put it down in the chat. Let's see what you guys think. I think that the army has gone on a little bit of a back foot. And Imran Khan today is looking at an opportunity. उसको ना कुछ दिख रहा है कि भाई मेरे पास ये 2-3 चीजें हैं जो लेवरेज है. आर्मी थोड़ी सी पीछे हटी हुई है. अब मैं क्या करूं? ये लॉन्ग मार्च, आई डोंट नो वेदर दिस लॉन्ग मार्च विल सक्सीड और नॉट, और इसका कहां एज एंड क्लोज दे कम टू इस्लामाबाद, इनका क्या हालत करने वाले हैं वो पता नहीं मेरे को. बट we know what happened when Imran Khan ko they tried to ban him from elections. A lot of violence took place, although was hushed up by the media, but a lot of it did take place. Now, will he come back? Big question, because see, there are two things, and if he comes back, please understand he is going to be king ruler Imran Khan. ठीक है? हाँ, we can say it will be the best friend of India, best thing that ever happened to us. Xi Jinping on one side, taking care of China, Imran Khan on the other side taking care of Pakistan. हमको तो फिर थोड़ी जिंदगी अच्छी हो जाएगी हमारी. Fair enough. But look at it from the Pakistani perspective. If he actually comes back, ठीक है, there are 3 things that will be there. One, he will sideline. ठीक है, he will not look at, वो देखेगा नहीं कौन है इधर पे उधर पे, वो सब फिर साफ करेगा. ठीक है, he's got that tendency, और वो तो काफी टाइम से बोलता है यार. I mean, you look at it, अदालत भी I want it done my way, army should my way, my way, my way, my way. He was my way or highway kind of a guy. But if he doesn't come back, one thing one must understand, that there will be quite a little bit of a problem that Pakistan might have to face in terms of अगर इमरान खान को कहीं पे पकड़ने की कोशिश करेंगे. Because see, please understand, अगर ये कंस्पिरेसी टू मर्डर शर्डर में इसको ये जर्नलिस्ट के इसके अंदर कुछ दे फाइंड समथिंग एंड प्लांट समथिंग, देन इमरान खान कैन बी इन अ लिटिल बिट ऑफ ट्रबल, है कि नहीं? सो वो थोड़ा, दैट्स समथिंग दैट वी नीड टू वेट एंड वॉच. बट आई थिंक, एंड आई एम गोइंग टू से दिस अगेन, पाकिस्तानी आर्मी को थोड़ा, वी सीन देम फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम probably going back, apart from when they went back from India, but internally they seem to be in a back foot. I'm going to discuss a little more about the long-term implications about all this stuff with General Shankar on Sunday. So please, I will send the link out. Stay tuned. Hit the bell icon so that you get my notifications. Today, this is the second video. I hope you've seen the first one. That was on a little bit of a jhagda which is happening between France and Germany. Yeah, best friends in Europe are fighting. Right? So I hope you guys have seen that video. If not, check it out after this. I have a couple of comments and some thoughts. I will take that up. Right. चोर की दाढ़ी में तिनका. Intel agencies, military personnel will never come and address media when there is a civilian government in place. True, sir. दैट इज द फन पार्ट ऑफ इट, दैट इज व्हाट आई एम सेइंग। ये क्यों आए हैं? इफ दे हैव, इनको कुछ कहीं से गड़बड़ दिख रही है ना, प्रेशर में आए हैं तभी आके बोले हैं। एंड बॉडी लैंग्वेज इज नॉट समथिंग विच वाज वेरी वेरी दिस थिंग। पसीने निकल रहे थे भाई इन लोगों के तो। एंड दीज आर जनरल्स ऑन द पाकिस्तानी आर्मी सर, दे रोम अराउंड इन 3 स्टार 5 स्टार बड़ी the what 3 series 5 series BMWs. I heard they just got new ones. Anyways, uh, I think you've also said something else. It's a matter of time when the whole thing, like the APS Peshawar, is going to blow up in Pakistani's army's face. So that, of course, it's a horrible incident that happened. There is no question. But I don't know this पैसे है नहीं सर इनके पास। चाइना की गोदी में आप जाके बैठ रहे हो, यू सेलिंग योर सोल टू द यूएसए। उसके बाद बोलते हो रशियन ऑयल लेना है। अभी चाइनीज को पता चलेगा ये वेपन्स भेज रहे हैं यूक्रेन को, पता नहीं चाइनीज क्या बोलेंगे इनको। आई डोंट नो वेदर दे हैव एक्चुअली सोल्ड समथिंग चाइनीज को ठंडा करने के लिए ये डील आगे करी है, ये जो सडनली ML1 प्रोजेक्ट, जो the railway line and all this stuff which is started up. So you don't know what exactly back end deal is Pakistan done. But one thing one must understand, Pakistan is pretty smart in doing these little back end deals. Maybe horrible for the country, but they get things done. That's something that we must appreciate. Imran Khan is the best thing that happened to India. You know, me and General Shankar had done a video some time ago where we said that India's two best friends, Imran Khan and Xi Jinping, and we gave reasons why this is the case. ये बड़ा interesting है. I mean, jokingly we say, but you can imagine पाकिस्तान में क्या हालत होती होगी लोगों की without whole lot of things. And I mean, even आज देख लो कश्मीर का इतना कुछ हुआ, राजनाथ सिंह साहब ने बोल दिया कि भाई गिलगिट बाल्टिस्तान हम वापस लेके रहेंगे। इन लोगों ने एक चूनी करी, कहीं पे कुछ नहीं आया। यूएस प्रेसिडेंट ने उस दिन एक बोल दिया था भाई डेंजरस कंट्री है, बात सब चढ़ गए थे। टुडे दे आर टू बिजी टू लुक एट इवन दीस काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स। Right, sir. Rohit Saab, he says, back in childhood, we used to wait for a circus, but now as we've grown up, we never thought Pakistan would be the circus of around the world. Imran Khan would be the main joker entertaining. हाँ sir, I agree with you, but let me also ask you the same question. We are yet to really realize जोकर इमरान खान है कि वो जोकर बाकी सबको बना के बैठ जाएगा वहां पर। You never know. As I said, Pakistan is unpredictable. You really have no idea what will happen when. So by the time I'm speaking here, the long march is happening. I don't know what is taking place in that night over there. So if we take POK by force, there will be an economic geopolitical benefits to India. Well, that's Samir Saab, you asked a very heavy question. See, I'll be very honest with you. There are three things about POK. First and foremost, POK is the area जो Muzaffarabad and that south छोटा सा जो belt है, that is POK. And you know, if you see my video yesterday, Colonel Ajay Raina के साथ एक video किया था, where he says that कश्मीर का एक तिनका भी पाकिस्तान में नहीं है, even in this POK area. So ये K क्या बोलते हैं पता नहीं. Anyway, keeping that aside, there are two parts of POK which are in this. One is the Gilgit Baltistan region, which is the north, and you've got this POK area जो आपका बालाकोट, that Muzaffarabad and वो पूरा जो area है वहां पर. Now, one thing that we must understand, जो Gilgit Baltistan वाला area has got a very heavy mountains and stuff like that. There is a Pakistani airfield there, Sagoda is there, CPEC वहां से जा रहा है. So taking that will have a twin aspect. Whereas POK जो area है, that is relatively a little, I won't say easier, but it's a singular geopolitical impact. एक ही तरफ से है, पाकिस्तान से ही आपका ज्यादा गड़बड़ होगा. But Gilgit Baltistan is the most critical place. आज की तारीख में, when Central Asia and the connectivity is going to become a big thing, that is the big place. That is going to be the key of geopolitics around the world. Because if अगर आप ये सोचो, अगर if Afghanistan heats up again, that has a border to Afghanistan, China they've got a border, and there are a lot of, it's in the center of this entire region. So it's a very interesting part. Having said that, economics wise, that place is not that developed. There's supposed to be some resources, not as much. It's basically same जैसे जम्मू कश्मीर में जो हमारे resources हैं, pretty much same है. But we'll be able to control a little more of the water. That is one big advantage that we will have. Pakistan, we are an upper riparian state, तो हमको वहां पर थोड़ा control ज़्यादा मिल जाएगा. But anyways, This is a long term discussion, and one also needs to look at the people. We always look at the area. आप ये याद करिए, वो लोग 70 साल से पाकिस्तान में है, वो कितना, एंड दे नॉट कश्मीरीज, ये तो सबको पता है, पाकिस्तान ने पूरी पॉपुलेशन वहां की मिक्स कर दी है, कितना वो लोग इंडिया को एक्सेप्ट करेंगे इज समथिंग we have to look at very carefully, because it's not just a military thing. You have to, when you want to do something like this, एक नैरेटिव क्रिएट करना पड़ता है. इफ यू आप रशिया यूक्रेन के बारे में देखो कि उन्होंने एक नैरेटिव क्रिएट किया है कि जो ईस्टर्न यूक्रेन है दैट इज प्रिडोमिनेंटली रशियन स्पीकिंग. नाउ दैट इज ट्रू, बट that is the narrative of the war कि भाई you are troubling Russian people, that's why Russia is coming in attacking. So एक narrative create करना पड़ता है, एक social fervor build होगा, protests and all that stuff will happen, and then it reaches to a point where something like this can be done. Militarily taking it is a totally different story altogether, but militarily, remember, you will have another area which is क्या बोलते हैं ना, it's the insurgency and all lot of things can happen to you. So one has to be very, very careful. But having said that, I'd still want to say one thing very clearly. Those are our areas. ठीक है? There is just no question about it. जगह हमारी है, थी, हमारी है और हमारी रहेगी. आज वो कहीं और है, that's a different story altogether. The day must come when we take it back. There is no question. And as I said, Gilgit-Baltistan has to be taken back because that is going to be the center of geopolitics in this region. तो ये हमारा है, and I'm not just going to say here, I'm going to say even Aksai-Chin. Not even, as a matter of fact, Aksai-Chin is as much as a part of India as anything else is. So these areas need to be taken back. For that, we need to be stronger, we need to be more solid in the region, we need to have our independence. हमको काफी कुछ करना है ये सब चीजें करने के लिए. So there is still a long way to go. Oh, Rohit Saab, he says, taking back our land which was illegally occupied is always a pride. Absolutely. There is no question about it. But we have to work for it. At the moment, I don't see anything happening except for a little dialogues here and there. But if we need to and we are serious about it, a lot, काफी कुछ हमको करना पड़ेगा. Right. If they decide to be a political, then why are they going to form a political wing of the army? Well, see, that's the whole point. ये तो irony है ना पाकिस्तान की, भाई एक तरफ बोलते हैं हम लोग पॉलिटिकल है, एक चीज आप ये याद करिए, ये लोग अभी तो बाजवा साहब हैं इमरान खान से, बाजवा साहब की गोदी में बैठ के तो आया वो, किसने बनाया उसको प्राइम मिनिस्टर तो बाजवा नहीं बनाया ना यार, किसी और ने तो नहीं बनाया, वही तो आर्मी चीफ था. सो आज आप उसको लेके आए, आज आपको लात मार रहा है, तो अब आप रो रहे हो, उसको संभाल नहीं सके आप, तो प्रॉब्लम किसकी है? आपकी है. इट्स द प्रॉब्लम ऑफ द आर्मी, देयर इज नो क्वेश्चन अबाउट इट. ये तो ऐसा है, अब आके यूर क्राइंग इन द पब्लिक की, देखो हमारे को ऐसे बोलता है, कितना खराब है, व्हाट इज रॉन्ग विद हिम, ये वो एंड ऑल दैट. ये सब चलता नहीं है साहब. पीपल कैन सी थ्रू इट दैट you've taken a back foot. ये तुम्हारा बंदा है, तुम उसको संभाल नहीं सके, you went out of your hand at the end of it. What command of people that you do? I mean, you've trained a guy, you put him up there and he just escaped. Interesting. Very strong army, I must say. Imran Khan will end up like Bhutto. Well, I don't want to hope that on anybody, as a matter of fact, but quite possible. Quite possible, sir. How come, in spite of Pakistan Army's intervention into Pak politics, Imran Khan is still reigning supreme, unstoppable? There is no smoke without fire. Sarji, that's what I exactly said. There is some backing to this guy. He's got something with him. He's got something. Yeah, otherwise they would have caught him on some bloody case and put him inside. पता ही नहीं चलना, 3-4 दिन प्रोटेस्ट होते, 2-4 गोलियां मारते, 15-20 बंदे ये लोग गिरा देते, इनको क्या फर्क पड़ता है? पाकिस्तानी आर्मी में they would have blacked out the entire thing, no internet, thak. They've done it before, they'll do it again. So, but there is something behind it. Why is he jumping around? I don't know. If you guys do know and somebody there inside Pakistan who can tell us, we'll be grateful. Arshad Sharif is on assignment to expose the drug racket of a Pakistani army general in Kenya. That's why they killed him. Yeah, I've read this. It is there. There is no question. अब क्या बोलें साहब, ये जो है, he has been criticizing the establishment. इसने काफी कुछ बोला है establishment के बारे में, and इसका इमरान खान के साथ इंटरव्यू भी था जहां वो पर्चा सर्चा दिखाया था उसको when he's supposed to be in the inner loop of this इमरान खान का जो so called conspiracy theory थी, but so called और actual थी अब मुझे पता नहीं, but this was the thing. But one thing you must remember, एक चीज जब से इमरान खान गया है, यूएस एंड पाकिस्तान रिलेशंस हैव इंप्रूव्ड. Even before the war started, इनकी थोड़ी सी बातचीत शुरू हो गई थी. So that's something that we must remember. So they, it can point towards something that the US did or not. This thing, but yeah, Pakistani army is known for doing all sorts of nefarious activities. Yeah, it's they've been selling dogs and donkeys to China. They've been, I don't know, they got Chinese to marry local Pakistani women for what, $25,000-$30,000. क्या क्या नहीं करा इन लोगों ने यार. तो ये तो छोटी बात है. Chances of martial law 5.0. Sab, I don't think martial law ever went from Pakistan. ठीक है, it is Imran Khan who's trying to break it मेरे हिसाब से. तो that is why एक चीज याद करिएगा यार, whatever said and done, उसके पीछे इमरान खान के पीछे अभी भी लोग आ रहे हैं. ठीक है, इतने पैसे तो नहीं है कि हजारों लोग खट्टे कर ले वहां पर. और जितने ये लोग पाकिस्तानी यूट्यूबर बोलते हैं कि भाई फोटोशॉप है, ये है, वो है, इतना नहीं यार. आई मीन वो बेवकूफ नहीं है यार, इतना टाइम रैली करता रहेगा जब 5-6-10, आई मीन 5-6 हजार लोग खड़े हैं. He will only be continuing. He'll also get encouragement when there are a lot of people. So I think the martial law is still there, but थोड़ा सा इमरान खान गड़बड़ी कर रहा है. Having said that, army takeover might not be very well accepted by the rest of the world, but looking at what closeness पाकिस्तान की यूएस के साथ हो रही है ना, I am of the firm belief that बाजवा साहब यूएस से परमिशन लेके आए हैं कि साहब मेरे को ये इमरान खान को ठीक करने दो बिफोर आई गो. ठीक है, जो प्रोटेस्ट होंगे मैं देख लूंगा, मेरे को इसको झटका. अब वो झटका सक्सेसफुल होता नहीं होता दूसरी स्टोरी है, बट दिस इज व्हाट आई थिंक. लुक एट इट, बाजवा साहब केम बैक एंड इमरान खान के ऊपर डंडे पड़ने शुरू हो गए. सो यू डोंट नो. आई मीन आर्मी माइट नॉट डू इट ओपनली, बट दे probably, you know. So do you really think Indian Air Force can counter PAF and Chinese Air Force? See, and I've spoken about this to Air Marshal Khosla, who was the Vice Chief of Air Staff. I've heard a lot of Air Force people talking about this. देखो यार, ऐसा है, एयरफोर्स टू एयरफोर्स जो नंबर्स होते हैं ना, नंबर गेम जो होती है वो गलत होती है. आई मीन इट्स नॉट समथिंग दैट वन मस्ट लुक एट. समटाइम्स जो छोटी एयरफोर्सेस कैन डू अ लॉट ऑफ डैमेज टू larger air forces, and these are things which are part of training. These are things which are part of terrain that you're fighting. These are things, type of aircraft, आपके कैसे systems हैं, how integrated are you, what kind of information and intelligence are you getting. There are a whole lot of things, you know. It's not the video game sort of a thing कि आप 20 यहाँ पर है, 20 यहाँ पर है, कौन जीतेगा. There are situations, who begins first, who has the element of surprise, was the element of surprise successful or not, how good is your air defense, how good is your network centric system which has been set up, what are the targets of this particular thing, is it a localized conflict, is it an all-out conflict. There are loads of things, but let me say this, the Air Force does काफी practice करते हैं इन चीजों के बारे में. Chinese for that matter has quite a lot of disadvantages. I'm not saying that because, you know, I don't like China, but I don't like China, उसका ऐसा तो कोई doubt नहीं है, but China has थोड़ा सा disadvantage in terms of the terrain. Their airfields are very high up, so they can't carry that much bomb load, they can't carry that much fuel. Their pilots are not that trained. अगर आपने नोटिस करी होगी, एक न्यूज आई थी थोड़ा टाइम पहले कि भाई ये Chinese have employed UK के pilots to come and train them, you know, retired UK chaps to come and train them. Why? रीजन है ना कुछ कि भाई अगर चाइनीज एयरफोर्स इतनी अच्छी होती तो यूके के बंदे क्यों चाहिए उसको. Because they're not sure. उनके पास नए नए जहाज हैं, they're not sure how to fly them. They're not sure about battle tactics. 5th generation, ये जो नया game है, because I'm sure they got a little scared when they saw the Russia-Ukraine thing, how things are happening. So there are a lot of factors that one must, you know, consider when we talking about something like this. It's a very broad question that you've asked here. So isn't the demography of Gilgit mostly made of Shias and Ismailis? Even after Pakistan mixed the Sunni population in Gilgit, I think Shias and Ismailis still make the majority. You know what? Pakistani census is something I can't trust. I mean, it's impossible to know because the Pakistanis have been doing this since the get go. शुरू से इन लोगों ने बहुत लोगों को वहां पर डाल दिया है. जो ऊपर पहाड़ों में वो गांव शाव हैं and all that stuff, I know वहां पर ज्यादा लोग नहीं गए हैं, but they have mixed quite a bit because remember one thing यार, इनको भी कंट्रोल रखना था, है कि नहीं? अगर if they had a population who's against them, थोड़ा सा गड़बड़ होती. So they have put in a lot of their people who control this particular area. इनके हैं वो. Even now if you see बलोचिस्तान में कितना कुछ हो जाता है, लेकिन प्रोटेस्ट होते हैं, ये होता है, लेकिन तब हवा निकल जाती है एकदम से. So there is a certain way that Pakistan has been able to control. अब आप आर्मी से ले लो, आर्मी भी लोकल्स के साथ काम करके ही काम. Internal security cannot be done just by the army. Remember, they work with the local people. They work with the police. some ये थोड़े इधर उधर के लोग होते हैं, उनके साथ काम करते हैं. So it's, yeah, demography is a big thing that one must consider if we are talking about that area, but it's not the only thing. There's going to be a lot of things. Remember, you take that area, how many spies are there behind the lines, you don't know. Population I think 4 million की है वहां पर, आप देख लो अब 4 million में से कितने ढूंढोगे. So that's something that you must understand. I mean, Russia ने they've taken a lot of areas of Ukraine, but उनके भी पीछे पीछे थोड़ी बहुत terrorist bombings होती हैं. एक आध कोई यहाँ उड़ा देगा, कोई कुछ कर देगा, कोई ट्रक चढ़ा देता है किसी ऊपर. All sorts of things happening. So that's something that we must consider when we talk about this kind of thing. चाइना की मार आप भूल गए पिछले साल. अच्छा, ये आप तो बड़े, थैंक यू सर, आप पाकिस्तान से आए हैं, मेरी बात सुन रहे हो, वाह मजा आ गया यार. गाइज प्लीज वेलकम मिस्टर नवीद खान फ्रॉम पाकिस्तान. चाइना की मार हमको याद दिलाने के लिए आए हैं यार. बहुत साहब, थैंक यू सो मच, आपने हमको याद दिलाई, हम तो भूल गए थे यार. वेरी गुड गाइज, प्लीज वेलकम आवर फ्रेंड so that we can, as a matter of fact, remind him of some mar that they've taken from us. So ठीक है, चाइना की मार को तो यार भाई साहब हम डील कर लेंगे अपने आप, डोंट वरी, आप अपना देख लो, ठीक है. चाइना को हम अपने आप देख लेंगे, हमारी वी गॉट इनफ कैपेबिलिटी एंड डोंट वरी अबाउट इट. बट थैंक यू सो मच फॉर जॉइनिंग इन यार. आप आए, आपने एक कमेंट डाला, बड़ा अच्छा लगा यार मेरे को. आई फेल्ट रियली नाइस, थैंक यू सो मच. Suman Chatterjee, India's connection with Central Asia through Gilgit-Baltistan can make India energy independent. So I don't know if the Afghans would give us the amount of access through the Wakhan corridor. That's a good point. See, Abhi, if you see, the North-South transport corridor is also happening for this reason only, to create a channel of communication between this thing. And yes, if that happens, you can directly take pipelines from Russia, and a whole lot of things can actually take place. The dream of trade is always to the Central Asia, ना कि Central Asia का access मिलना चाहिए हमको. कैसे जाएंगे, कैसे, how do we do that? So it's a interesting thing, and that's something that we must consider, and that's why I'm saying the entire center of the geopolitics of this region is going to be Gilgit-Baltistan, and this is something we must always keep in mind. Pakistan is becoming a Trojan horse. Question: who's Troy and who's Greece? So, true. I mean, I don't know. I don't know who's Troy and who's Greece, because at the end of it, if you look at it from my angle, I think Imran Khan should survive. हमको थोड़ा सा उसको हेल्प करना चाहिए कि भाई कुछ हो ना उसको यार. Nothing should happen to him. As a matter of fact, and a lot of people पहले बोलते थे कि भाई पाकिस्तान स्टेबल होना चाहिए, ये होना चाहिए वो. अभी पाकिस्तान has been able to do only small pinpricks to you. Yes, it gets very irritating कि आपको जब ड्रोन्स मिलते हैं, ये मिलते हैं, वो मिलते हैं, और ये बेवकूफ टेररिस्ट घूमते रहते हैं, but they are not that heavy incidents. I'd rather keep them like this. ऐसे ही रहो, अंदर ही देखते रहो, अंदर ही आपस में लड़ते रहो, which is very good. And that can happen when Imran Khan is there. Sir, as far as local POK and GB population go, Indian Army can use some unguided ammunition to target military targets with some little bit mistakes. Yeah, well, good joke, but beyond that, there's still people there. I mean, come on. Interesting. There's little option of throwing Pakistanis out of POK, even civilians, just like what Azerbaijan did in Armenia. Anyways, it's just 4 million people. Will the world allow you to do that? That's something. And where would those people go? How will you do that entire thing? You can't cleanse the entire place. It's very difficult. Uh, I mean, very very difficult. राइट, इमरान को मार दिया तो आर्मी छुपने लायक नहीं रहेगी, क्योंकि इमरान ने पहले ही कहा था मुझे आर्मी मार देगी. दैट्स व्हाट आई एम सेइंग साहब, कुछ तो है इसके पास. समथिंग इज देयर, ही इज गॉट समथिंग. और एक दो बारी बोल चुका है भाई, मेरे को कुछ हुआ तो मैं वो एक कोई टेप है, कुछ वीडियो पता नहीं क्या, आई विल रिलीज दैट. सो आई डोंट नो, आई मीन it's an interesting thing. I don't know what's going to happen. But the main thing is, yeah, he's been able to stand. Remember that, huh? कल खत्म हो जाए इसका गेम, but please remember he was able to stand for this long in front of the Pakistani army, and that's not easy to do in Pakistan. Delhi Air Force was small compared to Arab Air Force, but the quality of pilots equipped to help them maintain supremacy in the Six-Day War and the Yom Kippur War. Only SAMs hurt IAF in the Yom Kippur. SAMs and a little bit of a mistaken intelligence. Their intelligence actually failed them. They thought ऐसा कुछ होगा नहीं, but anyways, it is हो गया वो. But yes, pilot training is critical. Please understand that our guys they're damn good. I mean, I'm from an Air Force family, guys. They're damn good. There is no question about it. Look at Abhinandan here. I mean, there are so many of these guys. Abhinandan, although great, is just one amongst many. Most of them stand up in the same light, in the same way, because they've gone through the same training. And not from now, ये बहुत टाइम से ऐसे हैं. Arshad Sharif was implicitly exposing Pakistani army and US unsaid deal, Democrats' unsaid deal in countless drone attacks unleashed on the Pakistani army, Pakistani territory, and bombing poppy cultivation. Well, sir, I agree with you. There is a certain amount of reality to what you're saying. These guys, Americans, have interest in various different things, and we know for a fact that the Americans have used these kind of deals and these kind of shady operations within South America to fuel a couple of wars. At one time, the Congress had given them, at one time in one of their wars, they've had so many of them. The Congress was not funding them, so they basically ended up, selling coke and stuff like that. And it was one time in Afghanistan that this news came out. One time in Vietnam, this news came out. So there have been multiple incidents, and I won't be too surprised, sir. Given what Americans आज कर रहे हैं, क्या बोलें यार, क्या बोलें सर. There are a lot of welcomes to Naveed साहब जो आए थे पाकिस्तान में हमारे साथ. Thank you so much for helping me out, welcoming him onto Def Talks. If there's a military operation that we undertake to take back POK, then could we see Chinese interference? I expect them to supply Pak ammunition at the very least and intrude into Ladakh at the most. True. You never know. I mean, during जब कारगिल वॉर चल रहा था, चाइनीज थोड़े से अग्रेसिव मूव्स कर रहे थे अपने. They built up couple of bridges and थोड़ा सा they had done some stuff. There's no question about it. It's the same way, if China also should understand, अगर tomorrow if it gets into a war with Taiwan, जब उसकी attention उस तरफ होगी तो हम भी यही कर सकते हैं. ऐसी बात नहीं. Always remember, there is a tit for every tat. So every action will have an equal and opposite reaction. So I think the Chinese are well aware of it. So you never know. This is there. Yes, these guys could help out, but Pakistan has asked extra F-16s for Greece, not from Greece, yeah, Jordan. Yes, there's some deal which is happening. I don't know how many of them are flyworthy or they're taking them for spares and stuff like that. Remember, जो Pakistani F-16s हैं, they're not F-16 Vipers, they're F-16Ds. These were built in the early 1970s. ये dual seater aircraft हैं, काफी सारे इनके पास. They were given to, I think, Netherlands or somewhere like that, somebody in Europe. इन्होंने वहां से खरीदे हैं. As a matter of fact, इनकी जो flying term life है is just coming to an end by, I think, next year or something like that. This is basically what $450 million in, I mean, is basically a life extension, right? उनको थोड़ा they've kept them alive for a little bit. So अच्छा, रोहित साहब, नवीन खान साहब, welcome to Dev Talk. Channel support Sir Imran Khan and you will be sent to Jannat. Okay, anyways. Right. Imran Khan is successful in winning election. Uh, he can prove a good pick being anti-America. And do you think Modi and Imran Khan can have a permanent Kashmir solution? If that happens, Pakistani army has nothing to do after that. Sir, Kashmir, everybody talks about a solution. I haven't heard one plan as to what the solution will be, right? Uh, Negotiations, if you're wanting to talk about, sir, it is never one way. If you're wanting to take the entire Kashmir or take the entire Gilgit Baltistan, they will ask for something in return. ठीक है, so अगर आप लेवल पे इनके साथ बात करोगे तो obviously there will be give and take. ठीक है, and that's the thing. Negotiations are never one way. Even if you won a war, you need to give something to get something. It's how it is. Destroying Pakistan completely in a battle is quite dangerous, looking at the factor that they sit on a sizable amount of nuclear weapons is dangerous. But Imran Khan, let me tell you, yes, I find him to be very smart in terms of the politics here, but he's half as smart in terms of his foreign policy and in his handling. देखो एक चीज वन मस्ट रिमेम्बर, इन्होंने एक बड़ी गलती करी है इमरान खान साहब ने. इन्होंने क्या गलती करी, मोदी साहब को परमानेंटली टारगेट. नाउ आई एम नॉट सेइंग this and that or the other, but when you permanently personally target someone, it's damn difficult to sit in front of him and talk. Same example of Russia and Ukraine. आपने रशिया यूक्रेन को पता नहीं क्या क्या बुला दिया रशियन प्रेसिडेंट को. You called him, I don't know, killer, bloodsucker, ये वो, I don't know what all has been called. Now when you call somebody that, how do you sit in front of him and talk to him? So it's you know, and Kashmir, whoever wants to solve that Kashmir issue, उसके बहुत political capital चाहिए. एक चीज, this is something that we must understand. The political capital that will be required for something like that is going to be huge. You have to be very secure in everything, ensure there are no rockets firing around the place, and currently India is not in that place. हम लोग, आपको पता ही है जब एक कोई चीज होती है तो क्या होता है आगे इंडिया में, कैसी चीजें आगे कैसे नैरेटिव बनते हैं. बट राइट, लेट्स गो लास्ट कपल ऑफ कमेंट्स गाइस. इंटरनेशनल पॉलिटिक्स, जिसके लाठी उसकी भैंस होता है. फॉर इंटरनेशनल इंटरेस्ट, इंडिया शुड एक्सरसाइज हार्ड पावर ruthlessly and take back. Yes, sir, there's no question. You need to have hard power, but always remember, it's as a lot of wise people have said, including the Chinese Sun Tzu and our Chanakya as well. As a matter of fact, Chanakya said it and then Sun Tzu said it. I would say it always like that. That you try and win a battle without fighting. Fighting should be the last option. Militarily taking that, we will also lose a lot. Yes, it will be a victory and this and that, but we lose a lot. We need to find a way to get it to us without anything, and ensuring that the population is bent towards us. Very critical. Imran Khan's long march, live news just now. He again praises India's independent. Absolutely, Akash Saab, thank you so much for joining in here. Nice to see you back after a while. He's been talking about this. वो खुददार मुल्क है, ये है, वो है. He keeps saying this, and it's been happening for a long time, sir. उसने तो जयशंकर साहब का एक वीडियो शूट भी चला दिया था. I think it is काफी कुछ है. There's no question about it. Right, this is a big question. I don't know how to answer this, but anyways, I'll just tell you what I think. Indian Air Force under the Indian Army. Why do we need a separate Air Force? Well, the Air Force follows its own game as far as its operations are concerned. It's not just the support of the army. Air Force is a strategic force. It's a different force. It does different tasks. That's why it needs its own setup and its own game. The theaterization जिसके बारे में आज बात चल रही है is to find a way to create a synergy. But as a matter of fact, keeping the forces together is not a wise thing. Nobody in the world has it. When you have larger forces, it's difficult because these are very specialized operations. One must understand. Does India have MERV? Ah, you know, the there's no confirmation. As a matter of fact, there's no question that there's a confirmation of any sort. I won't be surprised. It's not a very difficult technology to get. Understand one thing, with the kind of stuff that we are doing in terms of rocketry and satellite deployments and this and that, I won't be very surprised. And these are things, geopolitically इतना announce नहीं करते हैं. ठीक है. These are things that are understood. This is a damn good missile. Yeah, it's a upgraded version. It's precise, and there's just no question. Please understand, India has quite a lot of lead in terms of rockets. Having said that, numbers production needs to be brought up. And last question, guys. I wanted to do this as a short. This thing has gone up to an hour, anyways. We'll try and pull it down short. Uh, I try and read all your comments and questions because it's difficult. Can we really keep crying about internal weakness always? We are strongest right now. When Chinese go for Taiwan, we go for POK. Internal weakness is not the point, sir. As a matter of fact, see, the main thing is about having the economic strength, having the military strength. We don't have the fighter squadrons currently. We need to get our strength up. We need to get these things going. We need to ensure that when we do a unilateral action of this sort, the world is with us. You can't fight the world and go and do this because you're dependent on the world for a lot of things. One of the reasons मोदी साहब आत्मनिर्भर बोलते हैं is just to ensure that कभी हमारे ऊपर कुछ ऐसी situation आए, we should be able to handle it. Right? Thank you so much, yeah. Guys, thank you so much for joining me and going through this presentation. Leave your thoughts, leave your comments, hit the like button, hit the subscribe. Please ensure that you click the bell icon so that you get the notifications for the future shows. I've been getting messages from some of you guys that you're getting notifications. Sorry about that. Please check the network settings and stuff like that. It's nice to have all of you guys here with some great comments, some wild ones. It's always interesting to hear your thoughts. Thank you so much, guys. Before I sign off, if you can, do help out Dev Talks through UPI. Click the join button to become a member, or just hit thanks to send a super sticker or a super chat. It's always great to also do a solo live session, but I'm going to be back with some very very interesting subject with some great guests in the next couple of days and forward after that. Till then, Jai Hind.